Make sure I have no food in my teeth. Oh, we're recording. Hey, hi everybody. Welcome to another Q&A of the San Francisco Independent Short Film Festival 2023. This is the Q&A for, what's it for, guys? Family
Family
drama?
drama?
Family drama. This is family drama. Thanks, audiences, for joining us. We have the filmmakers here with us. Hey, filmmakers, introduce yourselves. Yasmin, I'll start with you first. What's your film and your role?
My film is Party Favor. I am the writer-director.
Fantastic. Lovely little film, sweet film. Brian, I'll go to you next. What's your role in your film?
My film was Don't You Go Nowhere, and I was the writer, director, and editor.
Fantastic. Love that movie. Ben, hi.
Thanks.
You're next, please.
Hi, I'm Ben Hess, writer-director of the short film called Head.
Thanks for joining us. And Hiroyuki, hi. Please introduce yourself and your movie.
はい、僕の名前は西山博之で、青と白という映画の監督、脚本、編集をしています。
His name is Hiroyuki. He's the editor, director, and scripter.
Fantastic. Where are you guys calling from?
Japan.
Right on. What time is it there?
Today about noon.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Jeremy.
So first off, Hiroyuki, why'd you make this movie? What inspired you?
何にインスパイアされたんですか？
日本の文化を世界に伝えたいと思うのと、その伝統的な内容っていう部分で、過去のその伝統のものをなんていうんだろう、伝えていきたいというふうに思ったっていうか。
So he want to express Japanese long-standing culture, and through making a salt, and なんだ、あと何でしたっけ？
それを続けていくみたいなことですね。
伝統。So he's expressing also the Japanese traditional culture passing down to currently people, and want to show another country's people.
Thank you. Beautiful film, Hiroyuki.
ありがとうございます。
Ben, how about you? Entertaining short film, but maybe that tough subject matter. What inspired you?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of films about sex assault and issues of consent in relationships and that kind of thing. And this film is based on a real life situation that occurred, that there were a lot of nuance and there was a lot of tragic circumstances with the real life people involved. But I wanted to kind of it really is, it's a difficult subject to talk about because it's an issue that occurs, I think, a lot of times in relationships, established relationships, that people just kind of deal with and accept because they feel like that in an established relationship these kind of things happen and they should just be accepted, and they really shouldn't. And it's issues of consent in established relationships where it's not really talked about, and it's the kind of thing where I think it needs to be brought to light, and people need to understand that if they're in a relationship where this kind of thing happens, it's not okay, and it's something that needs to be brought to light, essentially.
Yeah. Your film also, while we enjoyed it so much, we had a tough time putting it into certain programs. I mean, it worked in many, let's just say, and it ended up here. It could have been in a couple ones, we didn't have the other films supporting it, but we're glad you're in our festival. And Don't You Go Nowhere, Brian. What started your film?
Well, my film really, all came out of running into this guy, Mac McIntosh, who's an amazing musician in Austin, Texas, where I live. And I was on a random date night with my wife, rare date night with my wife, and we stumbled we were like, let's go to a jazz show. That's what married people are supposed to do when they're away from their kids. And saw this guy and his band perform, and was just totally captivated. And I just decided pretty much right there that I wanted to try to figure out some way to put him in a movie. and thinking that if I could just sort of get his charm and charisma on screen, that I could really have something. And so then I, was trying to figure out what would be the story. And right around the same time, my father-in-law had been diagnosed with dementia. This is kind of a spoiler, but I'm assuming people who are watching this have seen the movie.
Yeah.
But I kind of, and so then that became a big thing that our family has been dealing with ever since, and was just, something that was just roiling in my mind. And so I basically combined the two things to write the film. So
Wow. Fascinating. So that musician, the lead actor,
yeah.
You just discovered him. He's not an actor.
No. I mean, he's a musician. He and his band have been playing he's actually started performing pretty late in life. Only been performing for the last like 10 years, but he's been around music forever. Like his dad played piano for like Ella Fitzgerald and Duke Ellington.
Wow.
So he spent his youth traveling around the world.
And what about the female daughter?
Yeah,
you look familiar too.
Yeah, so Tamika Jones, so she's been performing for quite a while too. She's like known as the Queen of Austin Soul, and was actually kind of deciding to go into retirement right before I made that movie. So I was like, oh, I gotta make this, because she was gonna like move to LA and try to just kind of work on not perform anymore, but just like write music and stuff. But she came back to it, and she came back to Austin, so she's performing.
Yeah, wonderful.
Like, I think a couple nights ago, actually. Yeah,
wonderful chemistry in that movie. She seems familiar, like she may have performed in San Francisco, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, it's very likely. Yeah, she toured with Gary Clark Jr. All around the country. So
Got it. All right, thank you, Yasmin. Party favor, sweet little sister, daughter, mother, large family film.
Yeah, I used to live in San Francisco, so this is kind of like a Bay Area story for me.
Sorry to interrupt, but where'd you shoot it? Where was production?
I actually shot in New York. I was
Okay.
living in New York at the time I made this, but I tried to make it feel like it could have been San Francisco. Like the kind of the city girl goes to the suburbs. And so like, this was based on kind of a true anecdote of my own. Like I was put in a position to have to buy condoms for my younger cousin, like who's 14, and probably a little advanced for her age. And so I did not want to be in this position, and her mother is very Catholic. And so I kind of was like, I'm not sure what her mom would do. And, so I kind of, took it upon myself to buy them for her, and, decide that I wanted to make sure she was protected. And, but yeah, that actual story took place in like San Mateo,
Wow. Wow. It's interesting here. It sounds like a lot of these stories are all inspired from real life events or events close to you guys, which, sometimes real life is stranger than fiction. So Yasmin, though, since I'm still on you, did you find it, have you made other films? Is this your first movie?
No, I've made many shorts.
So have you made others that are inspired from such close material or from personal history or whatnot?
I'd say this is probably one of the ones that is more personal. Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know, I'm just a viewer. I am a filmmaker, but the performances rang truer, the words rang believable. You know what I mean? Do you think it had something to do with that? Not just your excellent directorial skill.
Yes, thank you. Well, I think this is one of the shorts that I really did write myself. And so I have directed other shorts where maybe there were other writers. So yeah, that's definitely made this more personal to me.
Got it. Hiroyuki, is this a personal film for you? Your film? Blue and White?
4作目ですね。
He's made four films.
But is this film
This is
here,
fourth.
is it any drawn from any personal experiences, personal history, family?
パーソナルな経験なのか、ファミリーとかのパーソナル経験なのか、この映画が。
今回の作品は別に個人的な パーソナルの関係では、ことではなくて、なんて言うんだろ
This is not personal for him.
う。日本で今、その後継ぎがいないとか問題になっているところを、
はい
後継者がいないことを
は
描きたいなと思ったというか、その文化に対して。
So now in Japan, there's no なんて言うんだろうな。I can't explain, but Japanese have in Japan have a program. Young people don't wanna pass through his parents' jobs. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. It's here in America
Yeah.
too. They're not wanting to do the work that their ancestors or their parents did, especially in agriculture.
Yeah. Yes.
Ben, did you say you're the writer on this? You did say it stems from some, personal kind of experiences.
Yeah, but personal from the viewpoint where I was actually a detective in a former life, and this was a case that I worked where the crime was reported, and me and a few other people investigated it, and it always stuck with me. And this is probably 25 years ago now that this actually occurred. And the case stuck with me because it was very tragic in many ways. And I wanted to kind of tell the story in a way that made there to be a little bit of hope at the end of it. Because in the real life story was not that way. It was very tragic in a lot of ways. But yeah, that's kind of where the story came from. So I've written and directed other short films and other things that all kind of stem from experiences that I've had in working with other people's experiences as a detective. So
again, your film too. The performances are wonderful. The acting is, great. In all these movies, the acting is great. And I wonder if the fact that you guys have a connection to the topics, the themes, the material that you could just pull out more believability. It's in the writing already, if you will. Did you have a tough time writing that, Ben?
Yeah, I did. And obviously there's the LGBTQ component to the film as well, with the characters that I don't have any real life experience with that. So both the main actors who portray the characters are both gay. And I really I made sure I sat down with them, early versions of the script, that I was like, is this true to life? Is this, does this resonate with your real life experiences, with things? Because I wanted, as somebody who's writing a subject that I don't have, in that component, real life experience with, I was terrified that I would not get it right, or be tone deaf, or do all these different things that you can do. So I really relied heavily on, the actors' real life experiences, and just try to make things authentic with that and as accurate as possible. So yeah, I mean, I take credit as the writer, but there was a lot of input from the actors that were involved and other people that were involved in the film, and I completely opened up that process to everybody involved, to be like, hey, if this isn't ringing true, please let me know. And people were more than willing to do that, and there were a lot of changes from, I mean, draft 5, 6, 7 of the script ended up not even being close to what we ended up shooting. So
but better off, you think?
Way better off. Yes. Yeah.
In my years of doing this, I've been hearing from filmmakers like yourself, it's like those open collaborations on set that don't hinder time management. The film always turns out better than they thought.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Well, that was very generous of you to keep that kind of set and benefited your film.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I wanted to make sure that it was authentic, and again, doing justice to lived experiences and all those things that are so important.
Yeah. Brian, same with your actors, your performances, wonderful. I just remember they're wonderful. Your film was one of the first ones I watched at the beginning of this whole selection process.
Oh, cool.
And never left me, especially performances. And I know it fooled me. Like I can't remember why it fooled me. It fooled me in a good way. Like that I don't know, just they were so believable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was very lucky because I cast all musicians playing for real. Like, so we recorded, that's like, you're not supposed to do it this way when you record live performance. When you record musical performances in movies, you pre-record a track and you have everybody like miming or lip syncing to it. But I felt like if I'm going to hire actual musicians, then I want to have them actually play, which made it very challenging in editing. But the truth is that song that they perform is one that has been part of their set for like years. So like they were like a metronome. Like once I was starting to edit it, I realized I could kind of like cut anywhere. Even though we basically from every angle the band was playing live in the background, and the two singers were actually singing. And Mac, asked me like, should I, when we were getting ready to make it, he was like, should I like read a book about acting? And I was like, no, you're just going to be yourself, and like, how to do this, of course. And it's like, it's going to be like 5 minutes of singing and performing and being charming and, interacting with the crowd. And then like, there's going to be a minute and a half of acting. And I think we can work that out. So, but he was wonderful. And, as were Tamika and Michael Hale and the rest of the band.
Yeah. So you guys been talking about your cast or casting, and just because there seemed to be chemistry there, the sisters, natural on screen.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure that they'll be happy to hear that. Yeah,
And I just remember bringing a warm and giggle, warm laugh to my heart when to ask for the favor and the sisters deliberating whether to buy the condom.
yes. I didn't hire a casting director, so a lot of it was honestly on my shoulders to find my actors, like kind of just casting through regular backstage. And I did find my lead actor at an event. Like she was actually performing at something, and I approached her and I was like, I'd love you to audition for this role for me. So, I don't know, sometimes, especially for like Asian American actors, you kind of need to be a little bit creative in trying to cast the right people. And if you don't have a lot of money and resources, which, I was largely self-funding this, I had to get creative with that casting. So
Yeah, right on.
but I'm glad I did find, the actors I did. I'm very happy with them.
How difficult was it filming? The other films here have smaller scenes, if you will, with just 2 to 4 people. Maybe Brian has a lounge or a music scene, but you have a family picnic in the background.
Yeah. Well, funny story. I actually filmed this in like October 2019. So like right before COVID.
Huh.
And I had a first cut by, when COVID hit. And I really, wanted to make sure I could play like the film festival circuit. And so I kind of just shelved it for a little while. And only am, trying to get it out now. So, but yeah, I was, to have that family scene with kids, like you kind of take it for granted now. It's a little hard to do, but, it really was kind of reaching out to the community and like, friends of friends, like, please come out, be an extra in this party scene, to try to fill that
Did you
party.
just have a party? Because that also seems like, you're in this family backyard picnic. Did you have to say like,
I know,
everybody right
like,
now, your
I rented
background,
that
do this?
We didn't really have a party. It was definitely a scene, but yeah, everyone was really cooperative. So yeah, it was
Cool.
good.
Cool. And Hiroyuki, was it difficult directing a younger person, a child?
若い子供たち、若い俳優とディレクションするのは大変だったか。
いや、そうでもなかったかなと思ってて、なんか自然にやってもらうことが大事だと思ってるので、彼女らのイメージを生かしてあげてるという。
He wants actors doing some acting on very naturally is very important, he think. で
だからまあ
It is not so difficult for him to directing with a young actor and children.
彼らの良さを生かしたお芝居にしていると。
Yes.
And then, was there any challenges, Hiroyuki, for your film? Was there any complications or difficulties?
なんか困難なことはあったか。
塩を実際に作っている現場を使っていて、その塩をのスケジュールに合わせなきゃいけなかったことか。
So difficulty things he makes scheduling with a real salt factory. So
12時間、12、3時間その塩を作る工程をそのまま生かした流れでスケジューリングしていった。
So he shot films for 13 hours or 14 hours to boil sea waters.
Mm.
And so he had to take whole things of boiling waters and making crystal. And finally it needed 1 month to make a real salt. So but he had only 3 or 4 days. So a make a schedule is very difficult for him.
Wow. Yeah, that's fast. 3-4 days. How about the other filmmakers? Any challenges for you? Complicated scene, shot? Brian?
I mean, well, ours was during COVID.
That was difficult
and
in
we
itself.
and we were racing. Like basically, I wrote the script and sent it to Mac in March of 2020. And so he said yes, that he was interested in doing it, and then it was like, well, we're not going to make this anytime soon. So basically, I just waited, and because I didn't want to try to be like, oh, maybe I can do like it's an outdoor venue or something, but I just didn't really want to compromise in that way. So I literally waited almost 2 years to shoot it, and then when and things were, it was just like December of 2021. Things were kind of like in this lull, right? And we were going to do, have the crew, masked up and get everybody tested before we shot it. And then basically Omicron was like creeping its way across the country. And so we managed to get it done right before it hit Austin. And everybody was safe. Nobody got COVID. A week later, we had the wrap party, and I got COVID because the wrap party was I basically just went to one of their shows because they play weekly. So we just like took over the venue where they were playing, and I like wasn't wearing my mask and was like doing shots with the band like an idiot. And I was one who got COVID, and because it was still less than a week before we wrapped, I had to tell everybody like, thank you guys for being so safe and being so, conscientious, and your dumb director got COVID, so you might have to get tested.
Oh no. Sorry to hear that.
But everybody was
Ben.
fine. Everybody was fine.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad you're here with us. Ben, challenges?
Yeah. I know that like intimacy coordinators are a very common, very much, a necessary thing in like bigger Hollywood productions and bigger productions. But, we were a very small independent production, crowdfunded everything. And I know that there are lots of films at that level that get made where that's not even a consideration, but thank God we had an intimacy coordinator from the get-go for our film, because it was so vitally important, not only in pre-production and kind of like rehearsing with our actors, but on set. We had she was so helpful with so many different aspects of that, parts of it that I didn't even like fathom that an intimacy coordinator would even be helpful with.
Wow.
In that whole process. So, I would encourage anybody at any level of filmmaking, if you have any need for that, please, like, there are plenty of folks out there that are really skilled in that are just looking to be a part of productions at any level, and would have regretted it wholeheartedly had we not done that. So
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that we didn't have those, not too
Right.
long ago.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
We have time for one or two more questions. If you guys want to ask each other questions, please interrupt me and go ahead and do so if you've watched movies. Yasmin, the most challenging part, was there a most challenging moment of making your film?
Yeah, I lost my pharmacy location the day of the shoot. And so the pharmacy we shot in was actually a scramble by my producers to find one immediately. So like we kind of pivoted, shot some, a different scene, and then went back to this new location that luckily worked out. And I kind of had to, on the fly, figure out, how to direct that scene with like the 2 hours we had to shoot.
As,
So
as a fellow filmmaker, I've shot movies where I've lost, like the movie takes place in a restaurant. I lost the whole restaurant, like week or day before. Why did you lose the pharmacy, and then how did you find another pharmacy so fast?
no, the one I had planned, like the
Is it
guy
backed out?
I was talking to like bailed on me, and someone else was there and wouldn't let us in. Um, Brooklyn. So
Right. San Francisco's similar.
yeah.
And then, so how'd you find the next one? Just the producers and helpers went and knocked on all the doors and gave them $1 million?
There were a lot of pharmacies in my area for whatever reason. And so, yeah, they hit the streets and, luckily found one that said yes. And so.
Good.
Yeah.
So last moment here to add something if I didn't ask you. Otherwise, I'll go around the room and say, what's one thing you want to leave us with? Maybe something you've learned, or the way you want audiences to walk away watching your movie, or you can say add anything else that you want. Hiroyuki, I will start with you. Anything you've learned, or you want audiences to feel from making your movie?
映画を作ったことによって何か学んだこととかありますか？はい、どうぞ。
逆に詩を描くことによって、もっと日本の知らない文化だったり、その場所を知ることができたっていうのは、まあ、一つ勉強になったかなと思う。
So, shooting about salt, he can learn more about Japanese things, Japanese culture, and Japanese things that he didn't know.
で、まあ、詩を取り上げたのにはもともと理由があって、世界で食されているもの。だから、みんなに違った意味で感じてもらえるものがあるんじゃないかと思った。
So, salt is eaten by all people in the world. And so through the salt, making through the salt movie, so they felt they can receive cultural difference about a very basic salt.
Yeah, we certainly did. And I certainly enjoyed your tempo and your pacing too. It really slowed me down, which I appreciated. Great pacing, Hiroyuki.
Thank you.
How about you, Yasmin? Final words, anything you learned, anything you want to say?
Yeah, I'd say like my film deals a lot with like children of immigrants, kind of, it's very difficult to go to your parents to discuss certain issues and when you need support, and sometimes you kind of have to turn to the side, turn to siblings or aunts to really help you. And so that, I kind of did want to like touch on that that this happens, especially, with women in families helping each other out.
Right on. Brian, you want to go next? Any parting words, lessons learned?
Yeah, I mean, my film having, unfortunately, dementia and Alzheimer's is a disease that is like, just if you could, it's hard to imagine a more cruel disease that you could create for somebody to have to deal with. But with my movie, what I hope that sort of to suggest is that like, while it takes away somebody's mind, it doesn't take away their soul. And the other thing, more positive, on a happier note, is if you ever come through Austin, Texas, the Michael Hale Trio featuring Mac McIntosh. That's the name of the actual band. They play twice weekly, pretty much every week in Austin, sometimes more than twice a week. And if you go, they will charm your pants off. So I recommend it.
I love Boston. I hope I get back there. I
Yeah.
will check them out.
Awesome.
Tell them what a wonderful job they did. And
Yes,
Ben,
will do.
last but not least, any parting words or words of wisdom, or what'd you learn, or what do you want to
Yeah, I
share?
mean, I think to other filmmakers, like, you know, that are trying to start to tell stories and tell, especially maybe difficult stories or stories that as a writer or a creator that maybe you are uncomfortable trying to tell that story, don't be afraid to really listen to people that have lived the experience of the story that you're trying to tell, and, you know, incorporate those things and really listen and really pay attention to you know, the people that you're trying to tell the story about, to what their experiences are, and don't be afraid to incorporate those things into your story.
Right on. Yeah, every one of you captured stories from different parts of different people's lives, and loved watching them. We loved them here at SF Indie Fest Shorts Film Festival. So thank you for making them.
Thanks
And
for having us.
congratulations on getting
Thank
into
you.
the film festival. If you guys come to San Francisco, look me up. In the meantime, best of luck to you with the festival circuit and making more movies. Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.